Hi, everyone, and welcome to our second week of Knocked Up Abroad Chats. Today we have Jennifer joining us from Parenting Abroad. Welcome, Jennifer.
Hi, thanks for having me.
And where are you based? Where are you calling in from?
So I'm in Switzerland. We live in a town called Pfäffikon, and it's about 10,000 people in size and around 20 minutes from Zurich.
Okay. 20 minutes driving or public transportation?
Both, actually.
Oh.
With no traffic.
Swiss trains are so efficient.
Yeah, we can get there maybe 30 minutes.
Oh, that's good. Okay. And how long have you lived in Switzerland?
We've been in Switzerland for 12 years. Yeah, a little over 12 years. And in this town, we've been here for about 5.5 years now. And we we just moved from a little town that's on the other side of the lake we live by. So we've been here. You know.
I love like the little Swiss towns. Like I think it's so cute. And you have 10,000 people is pretty small.
It's a really nice sized town. You can walk to everything. The kids, it's safe enough that the kids can go out on their own and they go hang out with their friends in the schoolyard, and I'm not worried about it. So
that's perfect. And how old are your children?
My son is 12 and my daughter turned 14 last week. So
oh, wow.
He's growing up.
That's nice. And your husband, is he Swiss or American?
He is Danish. We actually met in high school when he was an exchange student. I was living in a suburb of New Orleans, and he came for a year. We met, and it was a long time ago.
Wow, so your high school sweethearts.
Yes, and then, of course, we weren't together for the entire time, but we got back together in college, and then we got married, and we've been married. We just celebrated our 23rd anniversary. So.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's great. And so you've been in Switzerland for some time now. How did you get there?
My husband was working for a big computer company. And as part of his development plan from his manager, they had arranged that he was going to have an international assignment. And the initial offer was 6 months covering for somebody who was on maternity leave in Munich. And I said, wow, 6 months of maternity leave. That sounds great.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, at some point during the interview process, the hiring manager decided that he had a job for Thomas that would be better, and it was a permanent job. So what went from 6 months became a permanent move. So they let us pick between Munich and Zurich, and we ended up coming here because of the tax situation, and I think it's just the company at the time was tending to move more of their headquartery functions towards Zurich, so this is where we came. And we said we'd try it out, and that was 12 years ago.
12 years ago. Yeah, you just keep like going along and trying it out, and the next thing you know, you're somewhere. Yeah, you're abroad for 12 years. It happens over time. So obviously you're happy in Switzerland.
Well, I am happy in Switzerland, but I'll say there are many, many ups and downs, and even after 12 years, I don't know that I'm less homesick per se, but I've learned coping mechanisms to help me, stay happy.
What are some of your coping mechanisms? What do you do to avoid?
I'm not crying, it's just allergy-ish. So I would say one of the biggest things I sort of learned and taught myself is that you can't expect Switzerland to be America. And for the first few years, I spent a lot of time being so annoyed that things weren't convenient, that things weren't cheap, that things weren't easy. that the customer service wasn't friendly, so many things that I sort of missed. And then over time, it seems so obvious, but really you kind of have to train yourself to not expect things that you're not. My sister,
you're not going to get. It's not reality. You're not going to get that. You're not in America. Yeah.
My sister's saying is, don't go to the hardware store to buy milk and be angry. So yeah, I love that I can appreciate so many things about Switzerland, and then I give myself permission to miss the things that I don't have.
Yeah. I think I miss some of the conveniences of American life. I mean, I don't think you realize how convenient it is until you're in a country where, okay, like I was like, I want yarn. You have to go to like a yarn store. I'm not kidding. Like they don't have just yarn in the grocery stores, or like not where I was. And like grocery store had grocery store stuff. Other things has, you need to go to the specialty stores to get those things. And I was used to, in America, you can go to the grocery store and the grocery store has like clothes, and that Walmart and Target have food. And it's like, okay, so you can go and pick up a new pair of jeans, sunglasses, a purse, your weekly groceries, and tires for your car, all in one spot. And like, that's super convenient. And it just doesn't exist here. Here, that's like 80 different stores that you have to go visit and have all these individual transactions, and that adds stress. There's a lot of stress involved.
I agree. And, for a long time, there were a lot of things that I would look for, particularly when it came to cooking. I'd look up these recipes and it would say, use panko breadcrumbs, and I couldn't find them. And then I realized that if you want panko breadcrumbs, you have to go to the Japanese specialty store. And if you want Indian ingredients, you have to go to the Indian specialty store. And it's the same, even with cleaning supplies. Like, I didn't realize that if you want to buy Lysol, you go to the pharmacy. So, it took me a really long time to figure that out. Crafting supplies, funnily enough, like Home Depot, hardware store. This is so, yeah.
Yeah, like surprisingly, our toy store, our local toy store, has a section of like craft supplies. Not craft supplies for children, like with beads and what they have those too. Not toys, not toy craft, like hot glue guns and popsicle sticks, like that level of craft. I'm like, why is this in like the toy store? Like, it's not where you would normally look for arts and crafts.
Right. You really have to find your way around. Even in the grocery store, this one cracks me up. In Switzerland, they have two separate sections where you might find crackers. So there's the bread section, and apparently some crackers classify as a bread product. And then there's the snack section where you would find like pretzels and stuff. And some crackers qualify as snacks. And I still have yet to figure out what makes one cracker one and one the other.
Yeah, we have like a cracker section, and then some crackers are found in the cookies section.
Oh, cookies.
And I'm like,
right.
Yeah, cookies, crackers. And so you'll be looking for something specific, and you're like, I'm not in the right section. I still, my husband sent me with a grocery list because I don't do the cooking. He does the cooking, thank goodness. But so occasionally I will be in charge of going to the grocery store, and he asked for polenta. Now, polenta is not polenta in Swedish. It's something else. It's the different name. It's not called polenta. And so here I am looking for a polenta type thing. Do I go to the pasta aisle? Do I go to the rice aisle? Do I go to the international aisle? Do I go to, like, which aisle do I need to go to? And I couldn't find it. And I went 3 times. I'm like, I can't find polenta. Like, you have to go find it. I don't know where it is. And he did, of course.
It's really hard.
It's just, yeah. And it's, yeah.
I was looking for bok choy a couple weeks ago, and for some reason we have 2 major grocery stores here. One's called Migros and the other's called Co-op. And they sort of have some sort of an agreement between them because they're always right next to each other. And then there are some products you can get in one and some products like brand names that you can get in others. And I was looking for bok choy. I know Migros always has it. I thought maybe Co-op will have it. You never know or realize how much fennel bulbs look like bok choy from a distance until you're trying to. And they had like 5 different kinds of fennel bulb. How much fennel does one person need? I don't know. But it was like fennel, organic fennel, Italian fennel, Spanish fennel, fennel everywhere. No bok choy.
No. Did you find it eventually?
No, I think I ended up with Chinese cabbage instead.
You're like, no, we had fennel.
Big substitution here, yes.
Fennel. Do you have access to like American products? Like, do they import any American products, or do you have to go like a specialty gift shop for that?
So there really is not a good place around here to get it. There is an English bookstore that sometimes has like cake mixes and Pop-Tarts and things like that. But there's not in an American section at the grocery store. Barbecue sauce, like good barbecue sauce, is actually a rather recent arrival here. When we first moved, I would have to bring like gallon containers of Casey Masterpiece back with me. So they are sort of starting to bring American type products. There is a really great online service in Switzerland where you can order and have shipped from a pretty nice supply of, especially like holiday related items. They'll carry things for Thanksgiving and really fun stuff too. Like for Valentine's Day, they probably have candy hearts and they have candy corn.
Oh, that's nice.
Or Christmassy colored Hershey's Kisses, you know, just some of those things. And I used to bring back suitcases just full of stuff. But over the years, I've narrowed it down and it's limited more to candy and Triscuits. Triscuits are my...
You know, we don't have graham crackers in Sweden. There are no graham crackers. So all those holiday dishes that call for graham cracker crust, I have to pick like we actually use digestives, which is that biscuit, that British cookie biscuit thing, and I crush those up and we use those in the bottom, or I use Oreos because we have Oreos. You don't have graham crackers. Oreos. Yeah, Oreo bottom is pretty good.
So, you know, it's funny, the graham cracker thing, I agree, that is an issue. I did have Thomas bring graham crackers back for me on his last trip. And I do use digestives or the petit beurre, like butter cookies. Some people use them, but I prefer the digestive. But, now I'm... It slipped my mind, whatever. Oh, I know what it was. Funny place I found to get some kind of really things you wouldn't expect to find there is the kosher grocery store. There's a kosher grocery store in Zurich. There's probably one in Stockholm somewhere. And they have graham cracker pie crusts and Oreo pie crusts and cherry pie filling and just some things that we cannot find in any other place. Cranberry sauce. They had canned cranberry sauce. Although now that I've learned that you can make your own.
I know. And like on the Americans in Sweden Facebook group I'm part of, someone will be like, where did you find this? And the first comment is always, make it yourself. Here's the recipe. And it's like, if you want it, make it. And so I've learned how to make all those things that I used to buy because there's no other option. If you want it, you have to make it. It's just so tell me about your experience with kids. If you've been in Switzerland for 12 years, but you have a 14-year-old and a 10-year-old. So how did that go?
So we've done quite the mix of things with the kids. When we first moved, I was pregnant with my son and my daughter was 18 months old. And I First of all, I should say I did not give birth here because one of the conditions of moving was that I kept my insurance in the States, went back and stayed with my mom and had the baby in
Oh, so
Houston.
you flew back and had him in
I did.
the US.
I did.
Okay.
We moved here in August. I went back in October, gave birth in November, and we came back for Christmas. So,
Oh, wow. But
so
that's a
yeah.
big deal. That is a lot of considerations when women are pregnant abroad is, do I go back and birth in my home environment where I'm comfortable and I know the system and have family nearby, or do I stay here because I live here, and it sounds like you were able to do the former.
I was. And I'll say, I was nervous because I didn't speak any German. You know, you're really very vulnerable when you're in that situation. And I didn't want to have, I just didn't want to add any extra stress to the situation. I wanted it to be the beautiful experience that I know it can be and have my family around and everything. But having found an obstetrician here, and he's my gynecologist to this day, wonderful guy, and having seen the hospital situation that I could have given birth in, I definitely, if I were doing it today, would have stayed here because the way they do it here in Switzerland is just fantastic. They do the perfect mix of medical, natural, the environment itself is very family oriented. You know, there's a big birthing room with a double bed and yoga balls and a pool. I mean, it's just a gorgeous room. And they took me in there because I had to get a heparin shot before my flight back. It was like,
really?
this is the birthing room. So yeah, if anybody is in the situation of debating whether or not it's going to be okay in Switzerland, I would say don't worry. And most medical staff here do speak English. So yeah.
Yeah, that's good. And so your recommendation would be, yeah, Switzerland is modern and flexible. If you want to have a medication-free birth or drug relief, you have the options.
Yeah, they really work. A lot of couples choose to work with a midwife doctor combination. It's very common here. And then the aftercare is also really well handled. But of course, I wasn't here for any of that.
Yeah.
So yes, I don't have experience, but I have friends who have experience. So
yeah. And what's the postpartum life like directly after birth? When you moved back in December, what did your life look like at that point with an 18-month-old and a newborn?
So it was pretty tough. I'm not going to lie. I had my husband traveled a lot for work, and I was just starting to make friends. I found a wonderful organization called the Women's Activity Club that's in the town near me, Uster. And this is an international club for English-speaking women. They have play groups and a preschool and also like other fun activities. But that is where I went and I met friends who were in the area, who could speak English and who had babies. And that's where I found my circle. And because we were all expats, we were able to support one another in a way that I think family and friends at home would have done had I been there. So if you want to take a shower with your 18-month-old and she was 21 months by that time. But yeah, you know, just at that point in life with babies and toddlers, just taking a shower is a really big ordeal. Yeah. And to have somebody who would come over and sit for 20 minutes with your kids for the price of a cup of coffee.
Right. Just for company. Yeah. And I think, right. I don't know how you felt, but I felt like both sides, that like, my expat community would do anything for me if I asked. And I think that is so heartwarming because we're all in the same situation where we don't have that familial support. We may not have friends next door who can help. So to have that support and the offer of someone saying, you know, I'll come over and help, like I'll bring, you know, a lot of my friends, they brought their children's clothes that they had outgrown. And so we just had like tons and tons of clothes for my daughter to wear. And it was great. Like I didn't have to buy any clothes for her for a year and a half. And it's so nice. It's one of those things where you're like, okay, I didn't get an American baby shower. Okay, I didn't get that. Okay, whatever. But I did get this wonderful outpouring of love from my friends after she was born, and like you get it in other ways. But on the other hand, I also feel like these people aren't my family, and I'm hesitant to lean on them too much because in some cases, like you just met them, or you know, it kind of was a weird situation for us because our daughter was born accidentally at home. And so we're like, oh no. And so we just had like neighbors come, like neighbors came and like watched my son until like the ambulance came and they kind of like sorted things out. But it was a weird situation to like run and go tell your neighbor like, hey, can you help us? We have a situation. Yeah. And you're leaning really heavily on these people who you don't know that well. And I think that's just expat life in general.
I mean, that's something really I found that can only come with time. And when you ask people for help, then I think that it makes you more accessible. You know, it's hard for some people to go out and be friendly, whatever, you know, and I think I have a pretty typical American demeanor where I've always got a big smile on my face. Life is good. And, you know, but it's to really connect with people. When you say, look, I need help. Can you help me? And then they also feel comfortable saying, can you help me? You know, and it's very, as soon as you kind of break down that little barrier, I think strong friendships can form so quickly. And because those moms who, some of them are still here and my closest friends in Switzerland today, and some of them have moved away. One of them's in Stockholm right now. Oh. We lived next door to a Swedish couple for many years. Our kids were the same ages, and we shared a lot of parenting tasks. This mom and I. So yeah, I mean,
that's so nice. Yeah, you have to grow your own network. You have to build it yourself. It doesn't come organically, I think, in a lot of ways.
No.
Unlike you have family, your family is there. And for some people, family's not very supportive. So maybe you can still live it near home and not have the same support network that we do in our expat community living so far away. So I think it just depends on your situation. But yes, tell me about parenting abroad and what you're doing with that.
So Parenting Abroad is a podcast and website, and it's just getting going. We have a Facebook group at Americans Parenting Abroad. And my goal is really to help American parents who are raising children overseas to stay connected to their Americanness. While we spend a lot of our time focusing on integration and assimilation, which is very important, no doubt about it. But having been here for 12 years, I came a point where I realized I'm never going to be Swiss. I will forever be an American who lives in Switzerland, and that's okay. And to celebrate that. And so that's what my goal is, to help like-minded American parents out there.
Yeah, and I think Americans are we're very patriotic. We're very proud to be American, and
it can be a little embarrassing.
Sometimes, yeah. You know, you have a 4th of July party, and the international people at the party are like, "What is going on?" You're like singing USA songs, and it's great. And you're the only one celebrating. But I don't know about Switzerland, but Swedes are very not patriotic. it is kind of seen as being almost racist in a way. To say I'm proud to be Swedish is like saying,
Wow.
Yeah, I know. Don't even get started. It's like one of those things. Yeah, I don't get it, but it is what it is. And so when we celebrate our Americanness, it's very culturally not, I wouldn't say it's frowned upon, but like, I mean, they fly their Swedish flags by their home's flagpole and stuff. And we throw out our American flag and fly it and do all that stuff too. But it's not, I wouldn't say there's songs about being proud to be Swedish as like we have songs that are proud to be an American at all. Like it's not a cultural thing. Is that the same in Switzerland?
Now, I wouldn't say it's quite the same. The Swiss are not as overtly patriotic as Americans by any stretch. There is really a strong local, so Switzerland is made up of these cantons, and it's like a state. And the government is very decentralized, and in each canton has its own flavor, its own way of being, and in a lot of cases, even its own dialect. So people are very strongly attached to the canton or even the town where they came from. But there's also a lot of acceptance, I think, of patriotism in general. Because the population of this country is so diverse, there are so many expats here. 20% I've heard, I'm not going to, this is an old statistic, but approximately 20% of the country is expats of some sort. Yeah. And there is a lot of pride, particularly when there are sporting events, you know, World Cup, European Cup soccer, or even the Olympics. People will hang their flags out from all their countries. And yeah, I think there's not any frowning upon it. But in terms of Swiss nationalism, yes, it's there. But they're not Americans. I mean, come on.
It's hard to compare. It's hard to compare.
Wow. Not obnoxious about it.
I don't know. So there is a chapter in the book that takes place in Zurich. Did you find yourself relating to that? And what were your thoughts? Because that was from a dad's perspective. So it's a little different from what you went through.
So my first thought was, oh boy, I wish I'd known he was there because I could have reached out. And I couldn't really tell the story how long ago that had happened. So his kid might be much younger than mine. But absolutely, I think trying to find a circle of friends here is not quite set up in the same way as it might be in Sweden, for instance. You're kind of on your own as an expat. But each town has a set of clubs, really, that cater to different areas of the population, different interests. They call them Vereins in the German-speaking part here. So a Verein is just an organization of people who meet with some common interest. And most towns will also have some sort of mother-child or father-child Verein. And that's where the moms go to meet, or the dads with their young kids. There is also sort of a cultural belief here that moms, I shouldn't even say parents, moms should be staying home with their kids. All through grade school. They send the kids home here for lunch every day. And the kids always have Wednesday afternoon off of school. So somebody's got to be there. And there's not a lot of daycare.
No, that's interesting.
But his experience of the others in the playground not being like openly inviting is not uncommon. And it's not that people aren't friendly. It's it's not that they're mean, it's that they're not outgoing. That right. You need to be there. I mean, I had my kid in kindergarten, 2 years of kindergarten, with a group of moms in our neighborhood who hardly ever spoke to me. We were together for 2 straight years. I was always the outsider in this small neighborhood. When I told them that we were moving to another town, they cried. They literally cried. And I never would have. So all this time I thought they hated me, and they didn't. They just are not gushers.
No, they're just not so outgoing in terms of reaching out. No, I know it's the same. Yeah, our neighbors, when we moved neighborhoods, we're in the same town, but we totally switched neighborhoods. And my neighbors were like, "Oh, I'm gonna miss you so much," and I'm like, "You talk to me maybe 3 times a year, like."
But you're a part of. You're a fixture now, and when you leave, it messes with the feng shui of the neighborhood.
You're the American family that we can send our kids to if they want to practice their English, and you're the fun Americans who go full in on all the Swedish events. And yeah, but it's nice. No, it's nice to feel missed, but it's also funny when you feel like, oh, I didn't know you.
I didn't know you cared.
So, yeah. It's flattering. Nice. Well, that's great. Is there anything else from the book that you found surprising or notable that's share-worthy?
Absolutely. The story called Mean School Mom.
Oh, yeah.
Just about the mean class mom. Thank you. I was so touched by that story, and it's written in a way that is so humorous. I mean, I was laughing out loud at the beginning of the story, but at the end, and I don't want to give away, the plot or whatever, but the empathy that mother felt for her child in that moment, I could so relate to that kind of how he was stuck between being an outsider and wanting to be included, and her sensitivity to that. See, I'm crying right now.
I know.
was just, it was so written.
Because we're putting our children in that situation where they, where we are the immigrants. We are the mother who doesn't speak the language, or we are the mother who doesn't get it, or who doesn't understand what all the other moms are doing, because I'm never gonna be Swedish, and you're never gonna be Swiss, and that's just the way it goes. But the children are integrated, and they're very much a part of the society. And so there's always there's gonna be that discord, and it's gonna come up as our kids get older and as they experience more situations with their friends or whatever. And you, as a mother, as a parent, you never want to embarrass your child intentionally, I don't think. And just by being foreign, we will embarrass our children. We will. It's just, I know. It was such a great chapter.
Yeah, it really.
Oh. You're like, I laughed, I cried.
I really did. It was just.
Oh, well, that's so great. I love hearing that. And on that note, I think we'll close down so we can cry in public, or in private, not in public.
Thank you. Got my tissues.
Oh God, it's good. Well, here's the book. It's available in paperback and Kindle. Thank you so much for joining us, Jennifer. It was lovely to chat with you and find out more. And I will link to your Facebook and your Parenting Abroad podcast so others can find it and enjoy.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'll talk to you soon. Yeah. I don't know.
Okay.
So.
Oh, I'll hang up on you. Okay. Thanks.